Hello everyone, welcome you all to this 48th session of Modern Marketing. In today's session, we are going to discuss about growing importance of services and classification of services. Before going to discuss about the today's topic, I would like to give you the brief recap of previous session. In the previous session, we have discussed about differences between marketing of products and services. Here you can see some of the important differences, like products are objects or things, whereas services are efforts, activities or performances. Next, products are tangible but services are intangible. Products are homogeneous in nature but services are heterogeneous. Next, products can be stored but services cannot be stored. Next, products can be owned and resold to another party but services are neither owned nor transferred to another party. These are some of the important differences. Next, the learning objective of this session is to learn about the importance and classification of services, and the expected outcome of this session is that the students are able to understand the importance of services for companies and economy and its classifications. Now let us discuss about today's topics. First, we are going to discuss about importance of services. Dear students, we are going to study importance of services under two heads. Number one, importance of services to economy, and number two, importance of services to firms or companies. Now let us discuss about importance of services to economy. Dear students, service sector helps in many ways for the economic development of our country. Number one, it helps in creation of job opportunities. Dear students, the components of the service sector are wide and varied. It includes many activities like personal care services, education services, Medicare services, communication services, tourism services, hospitality services, banking services, insurance services, transportation services, consultancy services, information technology, and the list will go on. And the organized and systematic development of the service sector would create huge employment opportunities in India. Right now, around 25% of the India's workforce is engaged in service sector and contributes 60% to the India's GDP. And service sector made a tremendous growth in last 25 to 30 years, especially after liberalization policy of 1991. Next, services helps in optimum utilization of resources. Dear students, India is bestowed with rich resources, particularly the human resource, which favor the growth of the service sector. The labor content in most manufacturing activities is dropping steadily with use of technology in recent times, but the labor content in the service sector is comparatively high. As India is very rich in human resources, service sector can go steadily. Moreover, service sector offers excellent export opportunities too, especially in IT sector. Next, it helps in formation of capital. Dear students, there are indications that services will grow more rapidly in the near future because you may have known that service sector contribution to India's GDP is around 60%, but service sector contribution to GDPs of developed countries is around 80 to 85%. So that service sector will increases its share of contribution to India's GDP in near future. And also recent startup culture in India contribute to the growth of service sector in India. So that investments and job generations are far greater in the service sector. Next, it helps in economic development. Dear students, service sector provides finance, marketing, transport, insurance for the development of agriculture sector. The expansion of service sector activities boost the secondary sector activities as well, so that service sector can play a major role in reducing inequalities in the distribution of income in the economy. Next, services are environment friendly. When compared to primary and secondary sector, service sector is more environment friendly. because in primary sector, especially agriculture, farmers use many chemicals and pesticides and also burn agricultural wastages, which contributes to pollution. At the same time, secondary sector, which includes manufacturing and construction, also contributes more to pollution than service sector. And the last one, it improves standard of living. The standard of living of the people in any country would be decided on the basis of quality and standard of products consumed as services avoided in the day-to-day living. Any development is transparent only when the living conditions of the masses improve. When compared with developed countries, the standard of living in India is far from satisfactory. Standard of living cannot be improved by offering more opportunities for earnings. On the other hand, the standard of living is determined by the availability of goods and services for citizens and a wise spending on them. The development of service industry is sure to promote the standard of living in India. Now let us see what is the importance of services to firms and companies. Number one, helps in building relationships. Dear students, relationships are a key factor when it comes to the marketing of services. Since the product is intangible, a large part of the customer's buying decision will depend on the degree to which it trusts the seller. Hence, the need to listen to the needs of the customer and fulfill them through the appropriate service offering and building a long-lasting relationship, which would lead to repeat sales and positive word of mouth. Next, assists in affecting customers' perception. Service marketing involves many touch points for the consumer. Interaction with multiple people and experiences are less tangible than when buying an actual product. All impact the consumer's perspective of the purchase process. These touch points work together to establish a perception in the consumer's mind. Next, services involves customers' feedback. Dear students, unlike the marketing process for a tangible product, service marketing actually involves the consumer in the marketing process. Consumer is engaged in the process as well as contributes to a positive outcome. For this reason, it is important to seek consumer feedback and to use that feedback to improve service marketing effectiveness. Next, helps in differentiating the service organization. Dear students, due to the increasing homogeneity in product offering, the attendant services provided are emerging as a key differentiator in the mind of the consumers. For example, in case of two fast food chains serving a similar product like Pizza Hut and Domino's, more than the product, it is the service quality that distinguishes the two brands from each other. Hence, marketing can leverage on the service offering to differentiate themselves from the competition and attract consumers. And the last one, offer higher customer retention. Dear students, given today's highly competitive environment where multiple providers are vying for a limited pool of customers, retaining customers is more important than attracting new ones. Since services are usually generated and consumed at the same time, they actually involve the customer in service delivery process by taking into consideration customer requirements and feedback. And they offer greater scope for customization according to customer requirements, thus offering increased satisfaction, leading to higher customer retention. Next, we are going to discuss about reasons for the growth of services in India. Dear students, service sector shows a tremendous growth in the last 3 decades, especially after opening up of India's economy, and it accounted for 61% of India's GDP. From service sector contribution to India's GDP, we can safely assume that service sector plays a major role in the development of India's economy. So now let us see what are the reasons for that. Number one, economic affluence. Dear students, one of the key factors for the growth of demand for services is the economic affluence. According to NCAER, stands for National Council of Applied Economic Research, this institute's study shows that the size of the middle income consumer is rising fast. and percentage of the very poor households is declining, especially poverty rate in India, which is decreasing from 40% in 2004 to 20% in 2020. So that we can assume that as the income of the people increases, their spending also increases. So that it creates demand for many goods and services. Next reason, changing role of women. Dear students, traditionally the Indian woman was confined to household activities like cleaning, cooking, washing clothes, taking care of children, taking care of husband, like that. But with the changing time, there has been a change in the traditional way of thinking in the society. Women are now allowed to work. They are employed in defense services, police services, postal services, software services, health services, hospital services, entertainment industries, business process outsourcing, and so on. The percentage of working women has been growing rapidly. The changing role of women has created a market for a number of products and services. Earning women prefer to hire services in order to minimize the innumerable roles that they are required to perform. The demand by women is forcing service organizations to be more innovative in their approach. Next, cultural changes. Dear students, change is the underlying philosophy of culture. And change in Indian culture is not uniform. However, during the last century, the factors of change are prominent. For example, the emergence of the nuclear family system in place of the traditional joint family system creates a demand for a host of services like education, healthcare, entertainment, telecommunication, transport, tourism, and so on. And there has been a marked change in the thought process relating to investment, leisure time perception, and so on, which has created a huge demand for services. Next reason, IT revolution. IT means information technology. Dear students, for the last 20 years, especially after the year 2000, India is occupying a vital position in the area of information technology. Information technology became one of the key service businesses of the country. And information technology exports accounted for around 8% of India's GDP. And India has the largest software skilled population in the world. Realizing the potential for this area, many state governments have made IT as their most prioritized segment. Some states like Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Delhi have already achieved substantial progress in the information technology. And especially Bangalore, which is called as the Silicon Valley of India. Next, development of markets. Dear students, during the last few decades, the wholesaler and the retailer population has developed in India. Urban India has become a cluster of wholesaling and retailing business. Semi-urban areas, retailing has spread to the nook and corners of. Next, development of markets. Dear students, during the last few decades, the wholesaler and the retailer population has developed in India. Urban India has become a cluster of wholesaling and retailing business. In the semi-urban areas, retailing has spread to the nooks and corners of the streets. And in the rural areas, retail business is significantly present now. A new breed of organizations offering market services has come up in the last 2 decades. The government also offers marketing services to small-scale agriculture, farmers, artisans, and other traditional business sectors such as promotion of regulated markets, export promotion council, development boards, etc. And from the last 1 decade, e-commerce made a tremendous growth in India with the entry of Amazon, Walmart by acquiring Flipkart, and many Desi e-commerce companies also flooded Indian market. Next reason is market orientation. Dear students, service sector made a tremendous growth when compared to manufacturing and agriculture sector. With the changing competitive situation and demand supply position has forced the manufacturing organization to shift their philosophy from production orientation to market orientation. Market is a service function that has been added in the organization. The pressures in the market has further forced the manufacturing organizations to have marketing research, accounting, auditing, financial management, human resource management, and marketing research divisions, all of which are service functions. Next reason is healthcare consciousness. Dear students, in India, the healthcare market has grown substantially in recent times. Life expectancy of people is increasing in India due to consciousness of people regarding the health issues. The growth of fitness clubs, diagnostic centers, medical counseling, and health related information sites are the reflection of the growing demands for healthcare services. In recent times, the government as well as the social organizations has taken up the mass campaigns in order to create awareness among the illiterate persons and the rural population on health services. One such example is Fit India campaign. Hence, the growth of health-related services. And the next reason for the growth of services in India is economic liberalization. Dear students, introduction of liberalization policy in 1991 has brought many changes in the Indian market. Like with the disinvestment and the privatization policies, the state-owned monopolies in many service areas came to an end. At the same time, MNCs, multinational companies, were permitted to enter the Indian market. And government introduced liberal lending policies and lower interest rates, which motivated many people to become self-employed. And different sectors like banking, insurance, power projects, telecommunications, hospitality sector, health services, entertainment, air transport, and courier services witnessed intense competition due to the entry of multinational companies. And finally, the flow of time-tested service technology from various parts of the world changed the attitude of the Indian consumer towards services. Next reason is rampant migration. One of the important reasons for the growth of services in India is the rampant migration of rural people to semi-urban and urban areas. Dear students, India has around 37% internal migrants population who migrated from one state to another state or within the state from rural areas to urban areas, which is roughly around 45 crore people. Migration to urban areas for the want of jobs and livelihoods has resulted in the expansion of cities and townships, due to which businesses like real estates, rentals, transportation, infrastructure services, information technology services are rapidly expanding. And the last one is export potential. Dear students, India is considered to be a potential source for services due to various reasons. Due to availability of low-cost labor, consistent government policies, and availability of skilled laborers, and many reasons. There are a number of services that India offers to various parts of the world, like banking, insurance, transportation, data services, construction labor, designing, entertainment, education, health services, software services, tourism, and many other services. Especially tourism and software services are among the major foreign exchange earners of the country, and that the growth rate is also very high as compared to other sectors. These are some of the reasons for the growth of services in India. Next, we are going to discuss about classification of services. Dear students, there are numerous varieties of services, and the list is endless. And these numerous varieties of services can be classified into certain categories or types of services on the basis of certain criteria. Now, let us see those classifications. Number one, classification based on the ultimate users of services. Under this classification, we classified services into two categories. Number one, services to final consumers. Number 2, services to business firms. Services to final consumers are services which are provided to ultimate consumers or individual consumers who consumes services ultimately. For example, recreation, tourism, hairdressing, etc. And second one, services to business firms. Services to business firms refer to services rendered by a service organization to business firms. Here, services are not rendered to individual customers but to a business organization. For example, advertising, marketing research, legal, accountancy, etc. Next classification is based on the degree of intangibility. Under this classification, we classify services into two categories. Number 1, highly tangible services. Next, highly intangible services. Highly tangible services means services which have high tangibility content. Okay, for rendering these kind of services, service provider requires the aid of physical products. Okay, for this category of services, examples are fast food services, vending machines, etc. Next, highly intangible services. Highly intangible services refers to services which are highly intangible. For rendering these kind of services, service provider don't require the aid of physical products. For example, consultancy services, legal services, babysitting, etc. Next classification is based on service options. Under these classifications, we classify services into two categories. Primarily people-based services and primarily equipment-based services. Primarily people-based services means services which are primarily people-based or labor-intensive. For providing these kinds of services, service providers require service personals or laborers. Okay, without laborers, service providers can't deliver the services to the consumers. For example, restaurant, which requires the services of chef and waiters. Insurance, which requires employees and insurance agents. Medical services, which requires the services of doctors, etc. And primarily equipment-based services. Primarily equipment-based services refers to services which are primarily equipment-based and which involve low contact with people. For providing equipment-based services, service providers need the help of equipments like vending machines, ATMs, cinema, etc. For providing these services, they require physical products or machines. Next classification is based on specialization. Under this classification, services are classified into two categories: professional services and non-professional services. Professional services are the services rendered by skilled, specialized professionals to business firms and ultimate consumers. Dear students, in order to provide professional services, the service provider must have required educational qualifications as well as knowledge and skills in their area of service. For example, legal services. In order to provide legal services, one must have knowledge of law and hold a law degree. For auditing service, one must have knowledge of accounting and taxation and should have cleared CA examination. Medical services. For providing medical services, one must have knowledge of medicines and surgery and hold a medical degree like MABS. Next, non-professional services. Non-professional services are the services provided by non-professional persons or unskilled laborers like domestic help, babysitting, etc. Next classification is based on profit orientation. Under this classification, services are classified into two categories: profit oriented services, non-profit oriented services. Profit oriented services refer to services rendered primarily with profit motive. The ultimate aim of these kind of service providers is to earn profit, and most of the service providers comes under this category. For example, banking services, insurance services, airline services, etc. Next, non-profit oriented services. Non-profit oriented services refer to services rendered without any profit orientation. The ultimate aim of these kind of service provider is social welfare. For example, educational services by government or healthcare services by government, etc. Next, sixth classification of services is based on whether they are directed at public at large or individuals. Under this classification, services are classified into two categories: public services and private services. Public services are primarily directed at public at large, and these kind of services target large group of people. For example, transport services like KSRTC, PSRTC, etc. or municipal services. Next, private services. Private services are primarily directed at individuals like personal care services, medical advice, dietitian, etc. Next classification is based on the extent of contact between the service provider and the customer. Under this, services are classified into two categories: high contact services and low contact services. In high contact services, consumers have to spend more time with service providers to acquire or utilize the services. For example, medical services, personal care services, etc. And in low contact services, consumers or users have to spend less time with the service providers to acquire or use the services. For example, internet services, hospitality, theatre performance, etc. And in these kind of services, we find less contact between service provider and the consumers. Next, classification of services is made on the basis of number of delivery outlets. Under this, services are classified into two categories: single outlet services and multiple outlet services. In single outlet services, the service provider or service organization provides services to consumers through a single outlet. For example, theatre services, museum services, etc. In this kind of services, the service providers don't own more than one outlet. And in multiple outlet services, the service provider or service organization provides services through many outlets. They usually own more than one outlet. For example, fast food services like McDonald's or Domino's, etc. Next, services are classified as external or internal. Dear students, external services are services provided by a service organization to external or outside agencies or individuals, like installation services, distribution services, etc. And internal services. Internal services are the services provided by the service provider within their organization. For example, internal transport, office cleaning, etc. And the last classification is made on the basis of the presence of customers and employees. Under this, services are classified into three categories: self-services, interpersonal services, and remote services. In self-services, there will be the presence of only the customers. For example, self-service restaurant. In self-service restaurant, you won't find waiters. Another example, ATM service. In ATM services, you won't find the presence of bank employee. Next category, interpersonal services. In interpersonal services, there will be the presence of both customers and employees. For example, education service, where you find the presence of teacher and students. Another example, hotel services, where you find the presence of waiter and customer. And lastly, remote services. In remote services, there will be the presence of only the employees. These kind of services don't require the presence of customers. For example, insurance services. These are some of the important classifications of services. By this, we come to the end of this session.